What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? It's your boy Enlightened Luciferian Prince coming at y'all once again with another upload. I'm going to piggyback on this upload because I think that it is significantly important for people to learn about the definitions of certain things and to also be able to have more of a sense of interpretation about what the definition really stands for and its legalistic effect. So, my last video was called Significant Terms for a Reason. I want to elaborate a lot more on definitions on my channel so people can have more of a general understanding on what the commonality is applied to it in regards to the legal system. Now, let me get this straight before I proceed. This does not constitute legal advice, nor does it constitute anything anti-government. The sole purpose of this information is for informational and educational purposes only. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to make a very distinguishing variation between the word that people often disassociate or misassociate with the word discharge. Then I also want to make more emphasis on what is considered a debt and an expense. Now, a lot of people, due to coronavirus and so forth and so on, have made concessions to actually contact me in regards to what they call discharge. And then they have what they call also, discharging utilities. Let me tell you something. There's a big difference. There's a difference between debts and expenses. They are not the same. I think somebody asked me like about a month ago how to discharge a car loan, so forth and so on. I've been asked a series of questions. Is all I'm making my general statement to be. But first off, pay your fucking bills. Period. Why do I say this? Because an expense and a debt are not the same thing. Anything you voluntarily wish to enact upon in regards to a third-party entity is your own legal responsibility. And any obligation that the government would then place against you to say particularly that this is something that we created in order for us to indemnify you in some way, then that's a different story. Most people ask me how to discharge debts. Debts and expenses are not the same. Remember that. But to get down to the get down when it comes to these definitions, let me proceed. Buckle up. Tender of payment. To be a capable party to a contract with the means, preparedness, and desire to fulfill all obligations of said agreement. I'm going to say that one more time. To be a capable party to a contract with the means, preparedness, and desire to fulfill all obligations of said agreement. Let's go to another definition. Good faith. To be sincere and honest when entering, executing, and taking part in any agreement or undertaking similar to what is termed clean hands doctrine. That'll be another video in the future. Now let's talk about the UCC contract account number. Social Security number with the dashes. Exemption identification number is the Social Security number without the dashes. RFD. Also known as rural free delivery. I got big lips. Used for purposes of evidencing that the individual is not operating within the area of commerce and is domiciled at a location outside of such jurisdiction. Assumption. Express or implied promise to do on behalf or act to pay something to another. And that's where the actual expense concept comes from. Assent. Verbal or non-verbal. Notice what it said. Verbal or non-verbal conduct expressing a willingness to cooperate. Estoppel by contract. A bar that prevents one from denying a term of performance arising from a contract that the person has entered into. Estoppel. A bar that prevents the relitigation of issues. Next friend / guardian ad litem. A person who appears in a suit to act for the benefit of an incompetent or a minor plaintiff, but who is not a party to the lawsuit and is not appointed as a guardian. Corpus juris secundum, infants, section 222, also known as insane persons on section 264. Nexum, a transaction in which a debtor fails to pay and then may be placed in a form of slavery until the debt has been paid, also known as indentured servitude. The debtor will be termed a nexi under these circumstances. Now, y'all people see what LexisNexis talks about. Negotiatorium gestio. Management of another's affairs in that person's absence for their benefit. Negotium gestor, the actor who implements. Negotiorium gestio. Dominus negoti, the beneficiary of a negotiatorium gestio. Pecuniary, a monetary interest in the matter of money. Valuable consideration, consideration that gives or imposes monetary benefit or detriment to a party. Asseveration, to state solemnly or in an emphatic attestation. Emptio, spay, purchase of a hope. Let me drop that one more time. Emptio, spay, purchase of a hope to pay on something that may or may not produce a yield. Definition of real, of related to things that are fixed or immovable. Real obligations equals an immovable obligation. Judicial notice, a court's face value acceptance without requirement of proof due to the well-known and indisputable fact of being what is presented. De novo judicial review, a court's review of administrative decision ruling by analyzing the record and any evidence made available. Pause. I need a strawberry break. My mouth's getting dry. No. These non-GMO strawberries too, man. Good. Good for heart healthy regulation. Well, here we go. Condemnation money. Damages that a losing party in a lawsuit is condemned to pay. Jurisdiction. Oh, this subject. A government's general power to exercise authority over all persons and things within its territory. Half-tongue. Jury de mediante lingue. De mediante lingue. A jury panel composed of half of one nationality, which are the indigenous people, and the other half of a nationality to try an alien. The practices were ended in 1914 with the Status of Aliens Act, which is a very viable law, still usable to this day. A lot of people ask me, how do you particularly get out of government obligations or paying taxes? First off, stop thinking like a fucking slave. Stop thinking like somebody who owes somebody something, start acting like a creditor or somebody who doesn't owe somebody anything. Remember, you were born in this life debt-free, so there's no such thing as your debt for your sins. That's what someone else made up in order for them to profit off your existence. Remember that. Let's go further. Culpa, in contrahendo doctrine, Latin, fault in contracting. The principle that parties must act in good faith during preliminary contract negotiations, especially the principle that a breach by the offerer, them, after the offeree, the people sign, have begun performance on a unilateral contract, which is a one-signature contract, and is stopped by the offerer, which is them. Therefore, by completion, will give rise to liability in tort, which means that when you go to court, you're going to lose because they basically finessed you into a legal system. Here we go. Nisi alut convenerit literally means unless something else has been agreed to. Okay, license, a permission to commit an act that will otherwise be considered unlawful. We're going to get to that later on in the series too, because there's too much heat when it comes down to certain people who ask me questions about licenses. We'll get there. Certificate. A document giving the bearer authorization to act in a specified way. Otherwise, does not denote ownership. And that's why you have to file your UCC-1, because it's considered a what? It's considered a particular superior security interest according to Article 9 of the UCC Actual Functional Code that is in every state and municipality in the United States, and also incorporated in other laws in foreign countries as well. Here we go. Lex Patriae, the law of one's country. Lex Julia de Pecutalatum, a law punishing the embezzlement of public monies. Well, the federal prisons are filled up with more people who sell drugs than they are with politicians, but that's another story. Lex Poetelia, law abolishing a creditor's right to reduce his debtor to slave-like treatment. Wow, that's prison. Lex Validitatis, the presumption of validity given between contracts and other matters. Payment guaranteed. Guarantor will pay as soon as debtor is not able or willing to pay, or if signature is signed, is unrestricted or unqualified. Let's go further. Collection guaranteed. Guarantor will pay, and all efforts have failed, including court proceedings to collect from other debtor. No implied facts contracts, which means no contracts. Taking for value. Acceptance for value, which is basically what I push on my channel, but we'll talk about that in another video as well. Negotiation is the point at which negotiable instrument is accepted for and is cash. Solicitus, SS, Latin found with the notary block, meaning to wit or to namely say, subscribe. Acknowledgement, when a notary verifies the presenter of an affidavit as being the author of the documents and is in fact the same individual named therein. And one word last, to preclude, is to prevent or to remove. And you just learned a very significant truth in less than 15 minutes. Why are all these definitions important? Why? You might ask yourself. The reason why all these definitions are highly important is because they apply to you in your status as looked at in the commercial system. Proven fact. They don't look at you. If you haven't learned anything from any other channel, learn this. They do not look at you as a living being. They look at you as a monetary unit of profit, taxation, years of abuse, victimization, and also, as I said in the previous video, a slave. So, historically, people think that the only people who have ever been enslaved were people of color. That's bullshit. That's actually recent history. Go back thousands of years, you realize that there has always been a system of people who have parasitically basically made it their will to tell other people what to do, to make you a slave. Slave means one who is underneath the mastery and control of another. Also means, secondly, in an adjective sense, one who doesn't have the ability to think, and or have locomotion to do their own will as is prescribed by law. Natural. Proven fact. Webster's Dictionary, 1823. What's slavery? That's why you got people saying, I've never been a slave. Yes, you have. You're just cognitively dissonant about it coming into existence. But yes, you have. You have. Most people are actually so enslaved that they actually take on the role of their own oppressor. You know how many subscribers I got on my channel right now that's going to actually celebrate Christmas? Oh, excuse me, Soul Invictus. But they don't see nothing wrong with it. It is what it is. That's your reality. That's the way you want to make it. Cool. I'm for it. I'm about my shit. I give out fucking Christmas presents all year. Proven fact. So that's the way you want to verbiage it. Fine. But a lot of people need to come to the realization that you live in a time today where a lot more is evident. But I will also tell you this: a lot of things that they don't wish for you to know, you can apply to your situation today that can make your situation 20 times better. You got people who have degrees still staying at home. You have people who barely even have education still making millions of multi-millions of dollars. Remember, the race is not to the swift. Oh yeah, and don't get too hyped about December 21st. Trust me, that's just some regular stuff. Like I said before in the previous video, is what it is. Nothing's going to change. But I'll tell you what will change: your existence. Because y'all better get ready for COVID-23. It's going to be going on for quite a while. You believe it or not, straight. And if you don't wish to believe it and acknowledge it, that's your significant truth. It is what it is. It's how you want to live. Because their ideology is to make sure that they can stave off enough time to do what they have to do in order to make sure they can derail your lifestyle. Period. Proven fact. Leaving off on this note, people, I was actually getting ready to go into the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, but unfortunately, my fiancé is actually making dinner, and I can't linger on too long. Got to make sure I'm actually sitting here prepared, ready to eat. So, if you like this video, like and subscribe, share it, send it out to the world. You know, let it fly. But there will be more videos coming in the future. I'm not really going to bother a lot of y'all too tough because I know my views going to decrease in like 5 days. Because everybody going to be at somebody's grandma's house eating some turkey and some ham, which I'm not going to be doing. I'm going to be home on my goddamn business. But it is what it is. To those individuals who have doubts about themselves in these uncertain times, I will tell you this: don't be too much of an introvert looking to yourself. Start looking outside yourself. You start seeing the bigger picture. And for you agents, it is what it is. Don't contact me. I do not consent. I do not oblige. It's what it is. I know who you are. Trust me. I know exactly who you are. You'll be surprised how much social media some of you motherfuckers be using. You just swear to God, I'm just so clandestine. But I know who you are. Just like you were trying to figure out who I am, but I tell you who I am face to face. I don't have to be clandestine about it. Anyway, what's another announcement? My Cash App, you don't have to send anything to it no more. Unfortunately, Cash App has closed down several accounts this time of year. Don't know why, but I don't want another one. So if you wish to hit the PayPal, support the channel, I definitely will keep keeping this content coming. Because guess what? Showing an act of generosity sometimes is just being grateful. I don't need 50 people to send me whatever. Just one person a day. Even if that was the case, would be cool with me. I'd be fine with that. I'm not greedy. I don't think with the mind of the so-called quote-unquote oppressor. But y'all be safe, man. And agents, you know what it is. Like I said, y'all get ready to hang on for this next new year that's coming. Peace. Peace, light, love. Take care.